Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Three Shields production from the front line. You got Chris and Mike here and G in the background that don't ever want to get on the camera, but he's there, trust me. We have a very special guest here today. It's a really good friend of mine and Mike's and Greg's and the public safety community. And she's going to just tell her story of something that happened to her in her life. And Mike, if you would you introduce our guest?
Absolutely. So we've known Miss Paula Sabatini for, I'm not even going to say how many years because it's been a minute, but we all kind of know each other from...
Make you feel old?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little.
But we all kind of know each other from the 911 system, and you worked over there at 911 with both of our wives.
I did.
So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself. And if you want, while you're introducing yourself, just kind of tell us a little bit about your time at 911 and the relationships that you built with those folks.
Yeah, I will. I think it was 2011 when I came in to the 911 center, scared, not knowing what I was in for. I fell into a great group. They train for quite some time over there. They really take their time making sure that we're all comfortable before you even think of walking out on that floor. But I got put in to the C shift, and your wife Donna, I had Tracy over there, had a great group of people that it was scary, but they out of anyone over there, I would just say they're not going to watch you fail. They're not going to allow you to fail over there. You can every other call, you never know what you're going to get. You guys know that full well. Seen the best of times, worst of times in there where you
I can imagine.
Walk in and you'll see people jumping up and down cheering, or you'll hear the dogs barking on the radio in our headset, and so best and worst of times, but great group over there. So.
You know you don't have to speak nice about our wives just because you're here with us.
That's true.
We do know them.
Do such a thing.
I was gonna say, and if there's any dirt I don't know, I
I'm
do
not saying
want
a
it.
word.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
After we cut the camera
What goes
off.
on in there stays in
It's
there.
not a Vegas atmosphere in there. Come on now. She thinks it's a Vegas atmosphere.
I mean, sometimes you just got to be there on the right
That's still a
night.
29730 zip code. Man.
Nah, they're great. Every single one of them. I still, all these years later, I still consider them all family. I hate the reason that I'm here talking to you guys tonight, but it's a topic that is extremely important that I had said, I think, to Mike earlier. I said it's probably one I couldn't have talked about a couple years ago, but now is the time to do it. It's regarding fentanyl. Our family, we lost my daughter in 2018, Lauren. She was 20. She was a college student. So, back in 2018, I didn't know what fentanyl was. Now, I have the 911 background. I have training. They train us in different topics constantly. I had left them and merged over to the city of Rock Hill. So I was out of it a little bit, not too far off. But the first time I ever heard the word fentanyl was on television, and it was when Prince died. So when you hear the word fentanyl, I'm thinking, okay, that's something that's far removed. That's something that would be, not accessible to us. It's something where people have money and fame and fortune type thing. And so on March 17th, when, Lauren passed away, and the coroner told us that she believed that it was a drug overdose. I mean, how I'm stammering now is how I was stammering then. Right. I think my husband and I both, we just could not.
Hard to believe.
We couldn't even comprehend that. I think everything just went sideways on us. And so, prior to that, I can tell you guys, I worked in 911. I trained. I was on that side of the world when that happened to me and my husband said, call 911, I grabbed my phone and I looked at it and I didn't know what to do. And here's somebody that has that training, that side of it. So it's eye-opening, and part of me when I called, and had to dial that number, it still today doesn't seem real that is our life now, but part of me wanted to scream in the phone when I had to give my address and say who I was, and I didn't know who was on the other line, and I wanted to say, guys, it's Lauren. Help me. It's Lauren. That was what I just couldn't think of the words of what to say.
Yeah.
I look back at it, and it's just everything's a blur. We lost a good couple years where we just kind of, I think now we kind of gain our footing back. But there are so many parents here in York County, so many families, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. When I tell you this happened to us in 2018, and the ripple effect that it still has. I mean, we've got a large family. Most of our family's up north. We have some family here. But it destroys parts of your family. It's like, they can't wrap their head around it. They just, So I know there are so many people here that are dealing with the same exact thing. And this was 2018. And I think I was told, I could be wrong on my numbers, but I think there was either 44 or 47 other deaths accidental overdose deaths. And I'm like, how in the world is this happening? How can you wrap your head around it? I don't know. But to see it kind of blew the doors open. You guys may have, because I was out of 911 a little bit removed for a time. So you guys were seeing it on EMS, police, fire. It infuriates me that our first responders have to open themselves up to that exposure. When I heard it was, a couple of deputies were exposed on a call, I mean, my husband and I it infuriates us. It's just, I wish so many things were different, but, I can only speak from what our truth is. And our truth is, we're a regular family here in York County. Mom, dad, brother, home. And to have it happen to her is still not real,
Oh, yeah.
But there's just so many things I could say that, but my heart goes out to everybody after. If this happened to us March 17th, 2018, why are there still people dying of drug overdoses here in York County every week? I have no words. I have no words when they do. Chris, the law enforcement side of it, it's like, I feel like your hands are tied. It infuriates me that something that could be held in the palm of my hand can kill 1 million people. Why is it not a weapon of mass destruction? Why? Why is it not? If I could scream from the rooftops, I've written my letters. I've contacted companies. I've written letters to, I don't know if I can say names of companies, but, when you can order online.
You wrote the letters. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Like to Amazon. Mm-hmm. I write a letter to Amazon, and why am I allowed to buy pill presses that say the word Xanax on them? What? Come on now. It's not, it's just, I get angry. I'm glad now because I operate better angry. So I feel like this is the time for me to finally speak out. I've been asked by other groups to speak, and the timing just wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right for me. I did ask, my husband. I said, "Are you okay with me doing this?" And like I said before, he's more the quiet one than I'm not. But he said,
You wouldn't think that of.
he said, Polly, do what's in your heart and do what you feel. I mean, he'd be behind me for anything that I choose to do, because I said maybe someday I'll be on the steps of in Washington, D.C., leading a charge, you know. It's been eye-opening, to say the least, to learn how the judicial, you know, like the law enforcement side of it works. The EMS side, I know so many. I mean, I prayed. So I was praying that that one of you guys walked in the door that day that I knew, because I was like, somebody will know me. Somebody will know Mike. Somebody's going to know her, you know. But they're all fantastic. I mean, they're wonderful people. Now, I had left, like I said, I wasn't in the 911 center working with them, but they showed up for me, you know. They showed up for me. A lot of people. I work for the, you know, the city now. What a family I have over there, too. I mean, for some reason, by the grace of God, I've fallen into the best group of coworkers, friends, and family that I could have. I'm not from here. I'm from up north, so.
So you're telling me that you're not from the South?
No.
Okay.
No.
You didn't catch that?
No, I didn't. I missed that.
I've been catching slack from you guys for a long, long time on that radio. Yeah.
And you know, Paula, I believe, you know, the people that continue to use, you know, they're always chasing that first high they ever had. You know, that's what they got to have. And I think a lot of their mentality is, hey, it's not going to happen to me. You know, this is not going to happen to me. I've done this multiple times, and I've always come out on top. And, you know, in your case, you know, she hadn't done it multiple times. She hadn't, you know, you tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I won't paint a picture of her being an angel. She was a college kid. She was, you know, I know things that I did back in the day, and it's like,
but
they don't
in
get
your
that chance now. Now it will kill you. They're out to kill you. And I've often wondered. I'm like, did the street pharmacist, you know, your mind takes you in some dark places, you know, and you walk that line of, I'm not going to allow it to break me. I'm going to go this route with it. And we have to, my husband and I, my son, we have to pour it into something good, because otherwise it would consume you and take you in that wrong way.
But in your case, or in her case, she didn't know what she was taking.
I believe with my whole heart. If anybody knew Lauren, she would never have put her parents or her brother or her sister-in-law in the position to find her. I know she didn't know. Do I believe that she took what she probably thought was a Xanax? Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm not accusing anybody of, you know, to me it's poisoning. To me, it's a poisoning.
Every bit of it. Yeah.
And do I wish I reached, you know, that I lived in the city of Rock Hill at that time, So it was Rock Hill police that had to respond. I mean, they're wonderful people. The coroner, they're all wonderful people. And I know they want to work hard. Their moms, dads, they all are. I put a plea out on Facebook, please, if you knew where Lauren got this, because I felt like, you know, my child, she did pay with her life. Who did this? Did the person pressing those pills know that, okay, that one's going to be Paula Sabatini? You know, like, or there were other multiple people in the same area. It's not if but when that they get that one that's just, you know, and I believe that day, or it might have been later when we had gotten the death certificate, because when I tell you, you could have knocked me over. When she said, I think this is an overdose, and I remember telling, you know, I think the officers had to have us sign papers to tear. I said, you tear this house apart. I don't know. Please help me answer, because I said, maybe she had a heart attack, because heart problems run in our family. Like, I didn't know, you know. And to find your child is just, I have no words. And to not know what happened, and then the coroner to say that, I mean, Chris, Mike, and I, you could have knocked us off the couch. We didn't know. And it takes quite some time to get the toxicology back, you know. So we kind of walked around in a daze going, there is no way. There's just no way. But when she sat us down and told us, and then she, the coroner, Sabrina, she explained to us, I said, where does something like this come from? Who did this to her? So my mind was for days going, where was she? Where did this come from? What happened? You know, we just were scrambling trying to find out. So I put a post on Facebook, please, if anybody knows, where was she? Who was she with? What, you know, I just had no words. And we had friends of hers that came forward that said, you know, they told their story. I won't get into all of that and everything.
We understand.
But I kept saying, you know, I'll get the truth one day. I'll get the truth. You know, I still hold out that I'll get the truth of everything that happened as these, I call them kids, but now they're becoming parents of their own. And that they'll see what that does, you know. So I'm still hopeful that maybe information could come out, you know. But if it doesn't, we know, you know, it won't bring Lauren back. But I just wish, I think I'm directing my hurt towards either helping other people, trying to find out. I wish the laws were different. I wish people were held accountable. You are killing people. They're killing people. Why do the bills keep getting stopped? You know, I don't know. I have more to learn. I'll keep fighting the good fight. I'll keep holding up my end, and you know, and
well, that was definitely a thought of ours, or at least mine. I don't want to speak for Chris, but in giving you this platform too, is to give you that spot, because
that's right.
You know what? Somebody might see this thing that knows more,
right?
Or more likely, somebody's going to see this thing that's going to be forced to have a conversation with somebody that they see that's dealing with, you know, addiction, or, you know, at least bring forth the education to talk about these things. Because I got a 20-year-old son. As we talked about, you don't like to know that he's 20, but
I can't
he
believe
is.
where that baby go. He was a baby.
But, you know, to have those tough conversations, you know, and just realize that this isn't the world that the four of us grew up in. This is a totally screwed up, different world that is just, it's evil.
It is evil.
You know, and that's where this stuff comes from. And I'll be honest with you, you know, working out on the streets, Chris, you're the same. Your daughter was the first person that was somebody that we actually knew that this affected. And it hit us different.
Affected our family, our work family.
Yeah. Because, you know, I mean, and like you said earlier, I mean, this is family. These aren't coworkers.
No.
These are people you're never going to be able to get rid of the rest of your life.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
But
So,
it is true. I mean, we cheer for each other's kids.
That's right.
We celebrate the marriages, the whatever. You're in the trenches in there for 12 hours a day, and I can only speak for that side of the world. But when I tell you with everything that they are in there, they're watching for you guys and girls out there. There's no, I was there. I know, inside and outside, and it is true. Like I said, I was, you know, at my daughter's friends and family wake, and here they come through the door, and I can't tell you what that means. It means everything, and I know it meant a lot to my whole family. My husband's still on that side of the world with the Canada. So we still have contact to this day in the
That's
jobs
right.
that we do. We still have contact with the 911 center, and I'm still friends with all of you guys, and that'll never change. But to give me the voice, I do appreciate it. I really, truly do, because another thing I will say is after that happened, and I finally got back to work, you'd be amazed at how many people reached out to me that were dealing with things where it doesn't show race, creed, age. there were, I want to say, the year of 2018, and don't quote me 100%, but in York County, I think there was somebody over the age of 70 that died of an overdose, and like a 10 or 12-year-old, and then everybody in between. It doesn't care if you're black or white or Asian and
No, it
money,
doesn't.
no money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is something that's affecting everybody across the board, and it has done nothing but it's just gone off the charts. So it infuriates me to know that I've been fighting the fight since 2018. A lot of times you don't see the numbers. You'll see numbers 2020 during COVID, 21, 22. No, I've been barking this since 2018. And it is just shot crazy.
Just keeps going up,
It
don't
keeps
it?
going up. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people. And I don't know. I don't know.
I don't have an answer, and I know Mike, probably you don't have an
I
answer
sure
for that.
wish I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think just, keep doing what you're doing
Yeah.
and telling your story, getting your word out, and like you said, your story has grabbed people already. They've come forward and spoke to you about that.
It's like people feel comfortable to come. I don't know what it is, but they feel comfortable, like, hey, she's going down that road, or she's been down that road, or he has. And I'll talk to anybody. If there's a parent out there that hears this, they can call me. I give you permission to give my contact information. I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do, but just keep trying to fight the good fight and do my due diligence to try to keep learning and getting the word out there, and do justice by my Lauren, and keep her alive, keep her remember. I don't want anybody to forget her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one huge thing is, you doing that, you're using a tragedy to maybe save somebody else from having to deal with the same.
Mm-hmm.
The education is just, you see it on the news and it just doesn't feel like it's happening at home. Like you said, it feels like it's these other people.
Yep.
And, even out in the field, it didn't feel like it was happening to us.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it happens to somebody that you care about, that you love, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah.
Out in the field, it was just another call for service.
Yeah.
We go handle it just like we did the last 15 we've done this month, and
Yeah.
and move on with the system. So,
Yeah.
and basically, unfortunately, that front line, they have to go in there and they have to handle it that way.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get them in the system, and then hopefully the system will work
Yeah.
and help them get through this. And the unfortunate thing is, if you send 10 in the system and it helps one, the system's working because we helped one.
Yep.
So
That's exactly right. I mean, you hear people say that if it just helps one person, but it's the honest truth. I mean, that's all you can do as a person, as a human being, as a godly person is, boy, do I want to tear some stuff up sometimes, and have in the past and said some things that, that the anger gets the better of you. But that's why I think the timing for me is now, because I can without busting into tears.
Right.
And, it's crazy. It feels like yesterday, but it also feels like a lifetime at the same time. So
I can understand that.
yeah.
Y'all have done very well.
Thank you.
So I'm proud of y'all. I'm definitely proud of you for still trying to help people and fight this, because honestly, I think it's a losing battle. Every day you got law enforcement, EMS, fire. Everybody's still out there trying to fight
Yeah.
this public safety, and
it's hard to not become desensitized.
Oh, yeah.
To where, and I get it, you guys on the front lines, you have to. Law enforcement has to. EMS has to. You've got to handle your job. You've got to, and like you said, I can understand you go in there and it's another. And then, bam, it's Lauren. Like,
Right.
It does give you another way to look at it. I took calls like that too, and then to be that voice on the other line and not know how to open your phone, how to dial. Yeah. It's like it turns your world upside down and gives that perspective of, I always said, people would yell at us so bad on the phone of, just send them. And we're trying to get the questions that we've got to ask for you. I can understand the sheer panic that sets in, that they can't see. They can't see at the time. They just can't comprehend, and I think it's another way of me telling that side of, they're asking those questions for a reason. They need to know what you're walking into. How would I have known if there was something on Lauren's person's or in her purse, and I'm saying, yeah, tear the house apart, look for anything. What is this? What happened to her? And then, God forbid, you touched it. I mean, in 2018, this is still happening now, where people are getting exposed to it that don't know. It's crazy. Yep. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, I think it goes down to, again, the education side of everything. I mean, and you said, or Chris said, you just want to reach that one person.
Yeah.
So if you reach that one person and they reach another person, I mean, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
It starts as we, as not first responders so much, but we as human beings and parents, and children.
Yeah.
It starts with us. And I think that's what we want everybody to realize, is that just because it hasn't affected me in my life or my kids does not mean it's not time for me to start doing something about this. And I think that's really what Chris and I and Greg really wanted to get out there, is to show, number one, our support with you, to you,
That's right.
and just, continue to love, but also get a chance to get Lauren's story out there and get it heard. And that way, that one person that might just be cruising through YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. And so I said, before I walked in here, I said to myself, I said, please, God, give me the right words to say. Give me the right words to say.
Well, and I think he's giving you a lot of them, because he and I are normally not this quiet.
Yeah, we like to talk.
I'll be quiet.
No, we want you to talk.
This is all about you.
But just like Mike said, it doesn't affect us directly, because we have been fortunate and not had a family member or anything fall to that. But it does affect us because it's affecting our community.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Mike and Greg, back to when we started this, that's why we started this, because we wanted to make a community awareness. We wanted people to understand a police officer's side, a firefighter side, an EMT, dispatcher, when they have to take that call. And just like you said, where they're trying to calm them down so that they can get the vital information, because we have our first responders coming, and we want to give them the best information we can get to what they're walking into. And, for years, me and G back here, the job that we held, we didn't have that luxury. Mm-hmm. Our intel started when we knocked on the door and they answered. I mean, am I right, G? And that's where, when you get that call for service, y'all were our intel. Y'all were getting all that vital information. And on an EMT side, I mean, they almost knew they had to walk in and give them this medication or do this, because y'all had received all that information. And I understand where you're coming from. You had all of that training and you were really good at your job. But then when it happened to you, you just you froze.
Yeah, I froze.
And I can understand that.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing to me to learn, the fight or flight.
Yeah.
And I wanted to run, and my husband went right for her. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. You think you're going to handle something one way, and you don't. You just So it's just crazy, and that goes for any tragedy that happens. But I've often kind of not struggled with that, but it was like, wow, I have so much training for XYZ, but yet I still was like, whew, it just, you lose every bit of it. But one funny thing I'll tell you guys, I mean, just to make it a little lighthearted, I don't know if anybody like Tracy or Donna will remember this, but I will remember this until the day I leave this
They'll
earth.
remember it when they watch this.
I'm sure.
It had to be within the first couple of weeks of me finally going out on the floor to take the calls. I went through my training. I'm on shift, and I'll never forget it to this day. I take a call, and I'm thinking, I really got something now. And they're telling me, somebody's shooting a gun, and I'm typing it in, and I'm going. And I was like, I got shots fired. I didn't hear nothing. I was like, typing in my notes, I got shots fired. Still didn't really hear anything. I stood up in my cubby, and I was like, shots fired. And I'm thinking the cavalry's coming. I mean, I'm getting everything now. I'm getting everything coming in my direction, and I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was, but they looked right at me, and they were like, sit down, New York. You're in York County. That ain't nothing. Like, I sat down. I was like, what? Because I was like, I never knew that you could shoot in just, target practice and stuff. Like, so I tell that lighthearted story because I laugh to this day where I thought I had the cavalry, because I'm thinking if I was in New York, you name it, they're coming. I really got a call now. And they were just sit down. It's like, okay. Okay. So I learned, this is not New York.
No, if we don't hear gunshots in our neighborhood, we start to wonder what's going on.
I didn't know. Yeah. I did not know.
If so-and-so sick, they usually shooting by about dusk before they go to bed.
So I had to say that just to lighten it a little bit, but I'll never forget that. And I don't know if they'll remember that, but I remember it like it was yesterday because it was funny.
Yeah. I don't remember. You know what? I'm not even going to tell a story because I'm afraid I'll mess it up. So maybe one day we'll get her to come in here and tell the story. But it's something to do with somebody from up north moving to the country and not realizing I'm in the country now. So we'll see if we can get her in here.
I bet you have some wonderful.
I think we could
stories.
do hours and hours just with the telecommunicators.
Yes,
Tracy's got still a recording on her phone from a woman that swore there was an alarm going off, and I can't remember.
That's the one I'm talking about.
That the one? Yeah, I can't remember who it was that said.
I think I know that one. I was there.
Annette Singletary.
It wasn't. Yeah. Sorry, Annette.
Yeah. I don't know the details of it. I remember the story, but I don't know the details.
Long story short, it was a bird.
Yeah.
It was a whippoorwill.
It was a whippoorwill. And she's like, "Ma'am, what's a whippoorwill?"
Yeah.
So that's just the stuff that they deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah. And that's hopefully we're going to get some more telecommunicators in here and let them tell some funny stories, some serious stories and stuff. And we had a great chat with Mike, and he's doing a lot of great things over there at the center. That is gonna bring it up to where she needs to be. So.
It's a great group.
It's a great group. It's a great family to be part of.
It really is, and I'm so excited after having him on a couple of weeks ago, and we just dropped that episode, and people are going crazy over it. So,
good.
It's just the passion that he has, and he started at the bottom and worked his way up. So
it's amazing.
It's easier when you're sitting in that chair to have somebody standing over your shoulder, second guessing everything you're doing that's actually done it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier pill to take.
Yeah.
But so I personally want to thank you. When we reached out, we weren't sure if you were ready to do this kind of thing or not. We kicked the can.
Oh yeah, we debated many days on this.
And finally, Tracy just said, "Fine, I will text her for you."
I'm glad she did.
Donna actually did not want to text you. I mean, I'm just she that's just the type of person she is, and she was thinking of you, and she just didn't want to do it, and so me and Mike talked about. Next thing you know, Tracy, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she did.
I am
very glad.
And it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
To talk to us about that, and you just. My heart goes out to you. You just don't know how I am so happy that you're here.
Thank
to
you.
be able to tell that story. And I hope the story you tell, that somebody, if anybody's interested in talking to Paula, PM us on our Facebook page, reach out to us, and we will put you in contact with her. But I hope your story hits some people in the community, and they're going to take a hard look at their life and don't want to be there.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate. I really do.
Well, absolutely. And like I said, I hope that the biggest thing is we wanted to honor Lauren and honor you and your family. Because you are our family, whether you like it or not. You're stuck with a bunch of rednecks in your family.
Okay. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm honored that you asked me, and I think the timing was perfect now.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Good. Well, thanks again for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
We will ask, G has got our Facebook page up and running wide open. So we also got the YouTube page up and going. We're looking at a couple other platforms that we're going to go on. So be sure on all of these things that you go on and like and subscribe for us.
Yep.
Paula, we greatly appreciate you being with us today. And as always, we appreciate you folks out there joining us from the front lines.